They came on motorcycles. No warning, no ultimatum, just the sound of engines cutting through a Sunday evening and then gunfire. In Rukuba, a neighborhood that sleeps in the shadow of the University of Jos, ordinary people were doing ordinary things. A local football match was in progress. Students were returning from fellowship. Mothers were calling children in from the dark. And then, in the space of minutes, everything that felt normal became evidence. By the time the shooting stopped, dozens of lives were altered forever. By the time the mob rose in retaliation, the death toll had climbed. By the time the government reached for its oldest, most rehearsed instrument, the curfew, the question that matters most was already forming in the silence. How many times must Plateau State bury its people before we stop calling this a crisis and start calling it a policy failure? The facts, stripped from panic, are these. On Sunday evening, the 29th of March 2026, armed men on motorcycles stormed the Rukuba community in Jos North local government area and opened fire on a gathering at a local sporting venue. The initial death toll stands at approximately 24 confirmed casualties, a number that rose as retaliatory mob violence consumed the streets in the hours that followed. Jos North is not incidental geography, it is a pressure point. Rukuba is home to a significant concentration of University of Jos students and staff, young Nigerians who traveled from Enugu, from Kano, from Ondo, from every corner of this republic to build a future in a city that keeps asking them to survive instead. The university acted swiftly. Examinations scheduled for Monday the 30th and Tuesday the 31st were suspended. Students, on campus and off, were advised to remain indoors, to avoid early morning movement, to wait, as though waiting has ever saved Plateau State. The state government imposed a 48-hour curfew on Jos North, effective from midnight on March 29th. The Commissioner for Information made the announcement. The governor condemned the attack as barbaric and unprovoked and promised that security forces were mobilized. The language was familiar. It is always familiar. Weeks earlier, in mid-March, armed groups ambushed a security patrol in the Kanam area of the same state. Soldiers and civilians dead, the headline lasting no more than 48 hours before the news cycle moved on. There is a proverb that fits this moment precisely. The rock that is used to kill does not forget the hand that threw it. Plateau State is bleeding from wounds that have a history, sponsors, and a name that this government continues to refuse to speak in public. So here is the question this broadcast refuses to abandon. Who arms these men? Who benefits from the permanent instability of the North Central Corridor? And why does every official response arrive after the bodies, never before?
Nigeria has buried too many of its brightest in the soil of preventable tragedy. The fly that refuses to listen follows the corpse into the grave. But in this story, it is not the victims who refuse to listen. It is the state. It is the federal government. It is every official who lands in Jos, reads a prepared statement, and boards the return flight before the curfew lifts. The students of UniJos deserve an education, not a survival manual. And the people of Rukuba deserve a government that arrives before the motorcycles do. Peter Obi has built something remarkable in the North, not through patronage, not through tribal solidarity, but through the oldest and most durable political currency there is, the record of a man who, when given responsibility, did not steal it. That foundation is genuine. What is built upon it in the coming months will determine whether 2027 becomes a turning point in Nigerian history or simply another lesson in the gap between what the people deserve and what power delivers. The crowd in that hall is not wrong about what they feel. The question is whether what they feel will be honored or harvested.